real life.
Okay, good evening, everyone. I would honestly say that it's an absolute honor to be here. I mean, I think it's been a while that this has been happening, and you and I will know for sure that MGSS is a platform where you can basically get all the excerpts and powerful lessons that you can possibly think of getting, especially if you are one that wants to go through the path of education. Now, this is not to mention that every aspect of life is not part of it, but on the basis of education, this is literally where you need to always be. And it's literally called unfiltered this time. You know, when you hear the term unfiltered, what should come to your mind is no minting of words. This is literally a platform, a place where these experiences are real. Nobody's going to be telling you the YDX or perhaps aspire to Maguire or perspire, as the case may be. This is on future. This is basically an opportunity for you to learn firsthand from people who have been there before you, people who have experienced these things, I would say. And I kid you not, it promises to be a very wonderful session this evening because I am joined by sensational individuals, especially ones that are excellent in their dealings. But of course, what can we say of these things that if it is not of the Lord who has been on our side, it is hard for us to acknowledge all that we acknowledge today as our acquisitions. So, because we cannot put aside the impact of God in our lives, it is why before we begin any session at all, we always try to ensure that we welcome the painter of the sky. And that is exactly what we'll be doing right now. If you don't mind, I'd like that we pray. Father God in heaven, we just want to thank you so much for this evening. We thank you because we know that it has been all of you and none of us. Thank you for always being with us on a monthly basis. Thank you for always being there for us. Thank you for always showing that you are God and God alone in our lives. Father, as we are going to have an amazing session this evening, we pray that you manifest yourself in the lives of this amazing individuals. And of course, even as I co-host along, I pray, Father, that you also take total charge and total control. Bless the audience as well, people who will be learning from all of these things. Bless them as well, oh God. And at the end of it all the glory will be yours, while the blessings will be ours. In Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Yes, once again, thank you very much for being a part of the session this evening. Like I mentioned, it promises to be a wonderful one. And of course, we're going to try as much as we can to stay within the confines of an hour. We know that this program is usually a program that occurs for an hour, right? So today we are dealing with a topic that I would say many people go through the academic phase, the academic journeys, and then some go through this phase blindly. They don't exactly understand the tenets. They don't exactly understand the precept, all that is needed to be done for them to be able to achieve this academic success of a thing. And in fact, I've heard somebody say that looks like some people are just the ones that are meant to be academically successful. It's not for everybody. But that's a myth. That is not true. Every single person has what it takes to be an academic excellent person, academically, I should say. So the session today is about the truth about academic success. We're going to be breaking myths. We're going to be building winners, of course, one question at a time. So I appeal to you that if you have questions, feel free to share the questions. These people are here. This is like a one-time opportunity. You don't always have such individuals all the time like this. So the fact that we have them in our midst, it's a rare privilege, I would say. So please feel free to drop your questions, anything you have troubling you, any question you have that you feel like you've always had it pressing in your mind for the longest of time. Please feel free to drop them and be as expressive as you can be. And I assure you that we're going to have a swell time this evening. And as we would go on, we have in our midst Omobolanle and, of course, Moyosero Lua, popularly known as MJ herself. And of course, we're going to have Omobolanle go first. in the discussion this evening. Like I said, it is actually going to be an unfiltered discussion. These individuals will just be expressing themselves and, of course, making us understand the truth behind academic success. So I will be reading Omobolale's bio shortly, and it's quite a rich one. But I don't want you to. She's just a human being like you are, right? But people deserve their flowers. So I'll be reading her bio before I give the bitten to her, and then she takes the mic from me. Okay.
Just not to cut you short, but we have people joining us. I just wanted to show
Okay.
some of it. And I also want to just a quick reminder, if you're watching us, please share, repost, invite your friends. And here we have Bro ME. It's commenting, it says we're live and
Right.
that is joining from the United Kingdom. The timestamp is 5:03. Thank you for joining us. In fact, I would like to apologize because there was a time zone change
Hmm.
and Bro Emmy called me 1 hour earlier because he was surprised that the event was supposed to be for 5 p.m. So thank you so much from here, Bro Emmy. And if you're also watching us, please just drop in the comment your name where you're joining us from. Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much, MJ, for that input. I mean, need I mention as well that I'm not the host today, guys. I'm just a co-host. MJ is still the host.
No, I'm giving you I'm giving you the
I'm just
power.
rubbing minds with her. So yeah, I mean, it was a surprise today as well. The whole timing thing changed. We have this an hour moving behind because of the daylight saving time, and many of us, and many of you in the European time zone will understand this. So that's exactly why it felt like there was a bit of confusion, as it were. So yeah, thank you very much for that input. Like I mentioned, MJ has mentioned as also. Feel free to please comment, drop your questions as you want to. So, to the bio of Omabanli, she is a dedicated doctoral researcher with a strong background in animal science, specializing in sustainable dairy beef production and ruminant nutrition. She's currently pursuing her PhD at Tegarsk Animal Bioscience and Research Center in Ireland. Omobolale's research focuses on developing innovative additives to reduce methane emissions in pasture-based systems without compromising animal performance. Now, don't get confused. PhD terms are always very complicated like that. So it has to let you know that the mind and the brain must be very strong to be able to pick such intricate topic, I would say. As a passionate advocate for sustainable dairy beef production systems, she's committed to bridging the gap between research and practical application, ensuring that scientific advancements translate to real world benefits for the agricultural community and society at large. Beyond her research, she is actively involved in mentoring aspiring scholars. She is also involved in helping them navigate the complexities of academic research and scholarship applications, one of which we are privileged to have her be a part of today. She has a commitment to continuous learning and collaboration. Safe to say that she is a philomath, always loves to learn. She strives to drive a phenomenal change in the dairy beef sector and beyond. Her ultimate goal is to contribute to a future where sufficient animal protein is available for all, produced in an environmentally friendly manner. Ladies and gentlemen, if you don't mind, allow me to give the audience and the mic to Omobolale. Omobolale, over to you.
All right. Thank you so much, MJ and Uriel, for having me on your session today. It's really an honor to be part of the MGSS Unfiltered session. I was just carried away the way you were reading the bio. Thank you so much. And good evening, good afternoon, and good morning, wherever you're joining us from. I just want to welcome every one of us. I'm Omobolanle Kalinikoshe, like Uriel mentioned, a doctoral researcher at Chiagas in Highland. So today we are focusing more about our academic journey. And interestingly, my academic journey has been a mix of research and development, especially in the agricultural space. And along the line, I found this for mentorship and youth empowerment. And that's actually what led to set up a platform like the Agri Scholars and Mentoring Hub. Looking back at my academic journey, it's not like I have it all figured out, or I just got to this point in this journey where I became like I'm pursuing my doctoral research. Just like many other students, there were moments where I had this uncertainty, rejections, and recalibration like that. So I'm so excited about today's conversation because this is what we are here for. We are going to be discussing about what are those things that actually make you successful in your academic journey, because it's not about being perfect, to be honest. It's just being intentional about your academic journey. You want more. That curiosity is there, that consistency, like, okay, I'm aiming higher to build a successful academic career. So I think that's one of those things we'll be discussing. And straight into the point today, I know when we talk about academic success, building a successful academic career, it's not really about balance alone. Like I mentioned earlier, it's more about you being a curious person. I knew right when I was very young, I had this desire, this passion to be excellent. Like it's always my watchword. Although I started being like I was one of those least performing students in class. But then I knew there was more. I can't just continue having low grades, back then. I think, and we are going to talk more about the myth anyway. I know back then the way we actually quantify success is with your grades. Like having maybe you are in the one top percent of your class and everything. That's how we quantify it. And for me being maybe the last 1%, that it's really, really bad, right? So from there I had that curiosity, like, okay, I can become more, I can do better, and possibly with the assistance of my parents, because they are both teachers by profession. So, and you know what it means, like your parents being teachers and you not performing well in school. That's just how do I call it? That's a bit of shame to their own reputation. So then I tried striving hard, like, okay, I can become more. I had to develop that mindset that I can study hard, I can achieve this academic excellence. So it's about being curious as a person and consistency. Like it's not that you read a book today, you drop it tomorrow, or maybe it's when you have the exams and everything, that's when you want to prepare for exam. No, even as they are teaching you in class, you are already reading, you are going through your books, and you also have that character to reach out to people, like a good character whereby you can talk to people. I don't understand this thing. Could you please teach me what XYZ? So that's why I said when it comes to academic success, is you just being curious as a person, consistent, and having that character. And again, there were times like I was being overwhelmed, especially with the process of pursuing my international postgraduate studies. I think I had up to 20 rejections, if I'm not mistaken, anyway. So I finished my bachelor's in from Federal University of Agriculture, Abeokuta, with the first class. So it's just a grade as don't put too much emphasis on it anyway. So from there, I knew I wanted to further my education. And being the first child of the family, I have three other siblings, and my dad was already retired at that point. So I knew I have to cater for myself and even as my siblings as well. So pursuing my academic studies further is going to be like from my own self. But then I didn't. We all know how the situation looks like from our home country, in terms of securing a job as a graduate, fresh graduate, and everything. So then I knew, like, okay, there is no other routes to this than getting international opportunities for funding. And at that point, I just felt like, okay, let me just start with my application. So immediately as I was finishing my studies, even before NYSC, I started putting in for international opportunities. The first year, I went all rejections. The second year, all rejections. The third year, again, rejections and rejections. But then, like I said, you should be, that was at that point I knew I was very resilient. Like when it comes to being determined, like I need this thing, I want to go for it. So I was overwhelmed. But then, like we said, you need support systems around you, people that can hold your hand and say, okay, don't worry, this thing, we believe you can achieve it. So there are sometimes I felt so overwhelmed with my account. Even after getting the scholarship itself, the Western education system is not as what we have back at home. Is another world entirely on its own. And trying to blend in or fit in into the academic system requires more hard work on your own part. So, but then what kept me going at that point in time is like I have a clear sense, like, okay, this is what I wanted. I wanted to further my academic career. I wanted to be like get to the peak of it. I could have stopped after my master's, right? But then even after my master's, I said, okay, I want to go for a PhD, not because of the fact that I don't have options. But then this has been my long life ambition, even as a childhood, that okay, in my family, I want to be that child, that girl child that want to study to the peak of her career. So those are those things we'll be discussing, and I'll be bringing some myths, because when we say truth, definitely there are false truths out there that we call myths that people know out there. And I think you mentioned that, Uriel, at the beginning, that okay, when it comes to academics, some people say, let me start from that one. Some people say academic is not my thing. I'm more of a business person. I'm more of an IT person. So I know growing up like that, so many people grew up with different myths about academic. And let me start with that in the sense that yes, how do I put it? Academic is not only for those that have that passion to study. It's not like no one is born brilliant, to be honest. That's just the truth. Like I told you, someone like me who could have imagined the person that was the least in the class could rise up to graduate with a first class in a bachelor's degree. It's something that you train your brain, you train your mindset that this thing I want to go for it and I want to achieve it. But if you feel like it's for somebody, then it's not for you then. So the first point of action there is your mindset. I know society has wired a lot of negative patterns into our thinking and everything, but then it's up to you to now change the narrative, change the societal narrative that okay, this is what I want to become, this is what I want to go for. It's not, this does not mean like everyone has to go into academia. No, 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 no. It's not like saying everybody has to be, no. But if you have the passion, if you have the interest, you might not be very good at it at first, but if you give your time to learning, maybe in the classroom, off classrooms and everything, you are going to definitely excel in your academic career. So that's one important thing. And then the other thing is like academic success equals to grade. I know most of the time people think like, oh, the moment you finish with the first class, you are going to have automatic access to scholarship opportunities out there. But with what we are seeing right now, it's really, really changing that, in the fact that even those that finish with a first class are not getting scholarships like before. And when you look at it the other way around, you see some people with third class and they are getting the scholarship. And it's just to let us know that it's not about your grades alone that these people are actually looking into. They are looking into your research experience, your academic experience, your publication. There are a lot of things they are actually looking out to. So it's not just about your grade. It's not about what you graduated with, but then what can you offer? What can you bring to the table? What is your expertise? What is the skills you've acquired over time outside the four walls of the classroom? So I think this is one of those things that we need to let people know that, oh, your grade is good. Nobody is saying that you should not have good grades. I'm someone that I'm very, very bent on good grades, in addition to having the skills and everything. Yes, go all out for your grades, but then don't neglect the place of personal and professional development. So go for leadership training, and maybe your high city skills, data analysis, all these soft skills and technical skills. Try to work on it and see how it can boost your academic profile. Then another thing I want to mention about quickly is that you must have it all figured out. That's not true. The most important thing is that you need to be curious and you need to be open to opportunities around you. For someone like me, I knew when I was in high school, I was so bent about studying medicine. I know if you've been following me out there on LinkedIn, I think I've shared this over time, in the sense that you want to pursue medicine based on what society was also defining for us back then. But then I end up studying agriculture, and I could say that that same course has opened so many opportunities for me now than maybe if I have stayed bent to studying with medicine or whatsoever it is back then. So, and again, at every crossroad, right now I'm transiting into microbiology, and I'm very open to change. That's one important thing, that you must be open to change. So it's because my course is more of like an very interdisciplinary in nature. I'm still in the agricultural space, but then I need to transit to other aspects of my course as well. So you must be very open when it comes to accepting change around. It's not just accepting anything that comes to your way, like those things that align to your visions, that align to your values. So you must note that as well. So it's not important that okay, you have everything. I want to become a doctor and you are going to have a very straight path into studying medicine and everything. No, you might have to go in the direction of maybe being a pharmacist or a nurse or something like that, and maybe rechannel your career path into medicine. So it might not go on a very straight or linear path. You just need to be open to the choices that you have ahead of you. Then another thing I want to mention on is that the fact that you have to do it all alone. Yes, I once used to be an introvert, or maybe right still now, I'm not sure. I'm someone that I love to keep to myself. I love to just be myself. But then when it comes to the world of academia, you cannot do it all alone. Even our top professors that we see out there, they are always looking for opportunities to network and collaborate. They are always looking for opportunities to do things together. Maybe there's a research going on in Highland, they want to replicate something like that in US, in Canada. So they are looking for other professors in this country that they can work together to be able to achieve those goals. So it's very important that you're a part of a growing community that can support your growth. You are part of, maybe you have a mentor or someone that you look up to, that oh, in the nearest future I want to be like this person. Reach out to that person, maybe send a cold email. The person may not respond at first. You can just keep doing a follow-up. And so, and thank God we are in the era of social media now. You have access to people's maybe LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, and the likes. You can always reach out to these people on their social media platform, and they will definitely reply to you. So be part of a community. Like we have the MGSS here as well. It's a very big community for students. I'm on the group, even though I might not I might not be able to interact or something, but I'm following everything on the group. I see all the games, activities, everything, just to keep the group alive and equip students with the necessary information that they need. So I would advise students like that, like be part of a community, get a mentor, collaborate, be open to, how do I call it? Be open to networking opportunities that can actually shape your academic success. I don't know if I still have more time because I'm just, like I said, I'll just be talking as the spirit leads. So Uriel, please let me know maybe if I need to run.
I'm actually feeling bad because I don't want to stop you. I'm enjoying the flow, but maybe you should just help us with I mean, MJ. I don't know if MJ is patient enough to um
Oh,
allow some
please,
time in.
it's okay. Please keep
Okay,
going. Keep
okay,
going.
good. Please, thank
All
you.
right, so I'm just going to try to tidy up right now and just round it up. So, looking at my own academic, I think I've been saying one or two things about my academic journey, but one thing when I reflect back about my academic journey is the fact that I'm a very intentional person and I'm very resilient. So, it's very important that you know your strengths, know your weakness, but then always capitalize on your area of strengths, because you might not be able to work perfectly on your weakness, but then when you leverage on your strengths, there are so many things you can achieve. Like if looking at how I got my first scholarship to Wageningen University to study my master's program, I'm someone that have been so very intentional, like this is what I want and I'm going all out for it. So this means you need to show up, you need to ask questions, you need to look at your career goals. How can I refine this? What are those strategies? What do I need to change? So because at the end of it, it still boils down to you. It's all about you. What do you want? How do I want to achieve this thing? And why do I want this thing? So those are the key questions you need to keep asking yourself. And when you get to a crossroad that you feel like, oh, I'm very tired, I don't think I can carry. Take for instance, during my PhD journey, I went for a conference recently, and immediately, like from the conference, we headed to the airport, and it was an overnight flight. And the moment I was landing, like I was returning, like over the weekend, I had to return back to the farm. I was so tired. I think I shared it on my WhatsApp, and MJ was like, don't worry, you'll be fine. Because I needed to sample over 72 animals thereabouts, and I need to prepare for everything. So there are some times that even when you are tired, you still need to keep going. You need to keep pushing. And that's why I say it's more about consistency. It's not like when you are tired, you give up. No, you can take a rest when your body needs rest, because you experience burnout. I know some people talk more about burnout and stress in their academic journey, and which is, yes, you cannot remove that completely out of your academic journey, especially in this part of the world. You will get to that point whereby it's going to, how do I call it, stretch you, but it's not going to break you. Yeah, let me put it like that. The academic journey is going to stretch you a lot. You need to go outside your comfort zone. You need to learn. You need to keep get how do I call it? You need to be at pace with your progress, in the sense that you know that, okay, at this month, this is what I want to achieve. Next month, this is what I want to achieve. So you need to keep looking at it. You encounter rejections even in your program. I think I was applying for some opportunities within my program. There are some I was able to make it, and there were some I was not able to make it. But then that's up to you to define what success means to you. And another thing is, like, you need to hold yourself accountable. Nobody is going to, like, when they say PhD, you are responsible. It's an independent thing. You are responsible for yourself, your journey. My supervisor was telling me that, like, okay, blessing, this is your project. Then the whole success, whatever come out of it, it's all to you. So it's very important that you hold yourself responsible to your growth. You keep learning. When we talk about it's not just one point thing. I used to think like, oh, once I finish my high school, that's the end of it. But then after high school, we proceeded to bachelors. After bachelors, masters. So it's just to tell us that the world is evolving, and you need to keep learning to keep yourself in this fast pace of development and technology. So it's very important for us to know that, yes, you get to that point where things will not be rosy, it's not going to be easy, but just remind yourself why you started in the first instance, and lean into a support system group whereby they can hold you even when you're about to give up. So I think that's what, okay, coming to some tips that maybe can also help you why I try to round up as a student. The first thing is you have a positive mindset, because everything starts from your mind. If you feel I can't do this thing, there is no amount of energy you put into it that you'll be able to achieve it. So the first thing is having that mindset. I think I was telling myself, I don't think I've given up deliberately before, except if that thing is not important to me or I feel like it's not necessary. That's when I just abandon. But if this thing is very, very important, no matter how difficult it is, I tell myself I am going to achieve it. I can do it, and I'm going to go all out for it. And the other thing is have a clarity of what you want. Especially, this is what I tell people. If you think you don't need a PhD after your master's, don't give yourself the extra burden to say I want to do a PhD because every other people around me are doing a PhD. No, it doesn't work that way. If a PhD doesn't contribute to your long-term career goal, then you definitely don't need it. Just look at the pros and cons. What are the opportunities? That's okay. If I pursue this extra degree, what is it going to add to me? Because looking at the system here, there are even, like, a bachelor's is any way more better than someone that did a PhD. So what's the stress? If your concern is about the money, so maybe you should just stay at your lane after your master's and just look for job opportunities afterwards. So be clear about what you want and plan your time wisely. As a student, you need to be very, very intentional with how you spend your time. I know for most of us here, we are trying to juggle family, career, and personal branding. But I can tell you, most people think I spend most of my time on LinkedIn, but then it's just a very small part. There are sometimes I don't even have time to engage or post. So this just tell you that you need to prioritize what you have before you and know how to manage your time. Again, build network. I think I've mentioned that several times. Try to connect with people that are doing what you are doing, like that are in your field of interest. Connect with them. Be very intentional. Build a very genuine connection. I know on LinkedIn there are so many. MJ, I met her on LinkedIn anyway. So there are so many people out there that you won't know how they will be of help to you, maybe in your career journey. So many people collaborate for publications just by connecting with people on social media platforms. So build your network, and again, learn beyond classroom. There are so many things that they won't even teach you here in the classroom. It's up to you after the classes to now go back and sit with YouTube, maybe take some online courses. You just have to figure out how to learn that concept on your own. So it's very important that you take out that time, if it's either reading books, listen to podcasts, or taking online courses, whatsoever that you feel like is very needful or essential to your personal and professional development. Try to, as much as possible, to do them. Again, you can try to document your growth. I think this is one of those things that will keep you going when the journey gets tough. Like those little wins on this so day, I was able to achieve this thing. So at a point in time when you are like stuck, you can go back to your diary. Okay, I was able to achieve this. You will read through, and you yourself will feel a bit more inspired. I do this as well because I just put that vision there. Okay, this is what I've achieved. If I've been able to achieve this in time past, I believe I'm able to achieve these future goals as well. So no matter how tough it is, I know I'm going to go through it. Then another thing is like celebrate your wins. I know that one cannot be emphasized on social media.
At this point, I have to stop you because it's like you've even said everything I have to say. I think I'm going to be closing prayer at this point. I'm not
All
like,
right, okay, no problem. So now
I'm
you just
just kidding. I'm just kidding. Please continue. Continue. It's
okay.
Right.
fine.
So I just hand it over to MJ at that point. Thank you so much.
Oh, please
Yes,
don't
yes.
stop
Uh,
you.
uh,
You have
yeah, I mean, honestly, we could go on and on and on and on. In fact, I got to a point I had to stop jotting things down because there were so many things to actually put down. And if you ask me about the possibility of having everything in on marble, I would have really loved that if it was possible. But I trust and I believe strongly that even the people online as well have been gaining some high level of wisdom and gems from Omobolale. Some persons are joining from Nigeria, as I can see, Lagos. Victor Akinola said that our mindset is key. He's joining from Ikeja, Nigeria. Another person is joining Abigail from Nigeria as well. You said a whole lot of things, and you said a lot of things, and I must confess, one of the things that really struck me is you said consistency is very important because there are some people that they have that motivation at the very beginning, and then before you know it, at some point, the motivation just dissipates, just fades away, and humility also in learning the ability to be able to ask questions. It's not pride, it's humility. Willingness to learn is very important because it's an important aspect you will need. So I mean, a lot of things for us to take note of here, and the part of it that a part that also struck me, that's quite relatable, is rejection. They said you had over 20 rejections, but you didn't give up. You kept pushing, you kept pushing, you kept pushing, and it's just amazing. It's just really amazing. So without further ado, because of our time, I'll just jump to MJ real quick. MJ has said already that Obolale has mentioned everything that she initially wanted to mention, and I'm looking forward to what she has in
All
store for
right.
us. So I'm just going to read her bio real quick, um, and then she takes over from there. MJ is basically somebody that we are all familiar with, but this on the academic coach side of her, she's a devoted project manager. She's a PhD candidate. She's motivated by her passion for empowering students and young adults to achieve their goals. She earned her bachelor's degree in library and information science from the University of Ilorin, Nigeria. She graduated as a top student with first class honors. And in addition to that, she received the prestigious 2023 DAAD Prize for her exceptional academic accomplishment as an international student during her MSc program in Germany. Currently, she's pursuing her PhD in migration and gender. Recognized for her intelligence and keen insights, she actively shares valuable advice on student success across all her social media platforms. She's happily married to a wonderful husband who supports her endeavors. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome the one and only MJ.
good
Welcome.
evening, everyone. Are you making my head swell?
Sorry,
So
just
thank
do
you
my job.
everyone that has been joining, watching, tuning in. Thank you so much, Omobolale. I mean, so far, most of the things I had in mind. Now I'm just gonna freestyle because you've said so much already, and I wouldn't want to bore others. So I'm just gonna start by just sharing my story and then maybe connecting to some of the points you've made and sharing just lessons from it. Good evening, everyone. Welcome once again. My name is MJ. If you are just joining, and I'm the brainchild behind MJ's Guide to Student Success. And I just want to share with you some of the not isn't yeah some myths. Some of them Balali already mentioned. For me, I think when Malali was talking, I could sense similarities. We share similarities. My mom, she's retired now, but she was a teacher. So growing up, academics, it was really taken seriously in the household as well. We didn't have any choice. We had extra lesson, extra. So for even I did before I understood what academic success or intelligence was, I just knew that it must be first, second, or third. That's any other thing is not acceptable where I'm from. So for me, it just came natural to me. So studying, being studious, because that's how I was raised basically. And on getting to high school, I I was the senior prefect girl. I think I shared this story before. So there's this expectation that comes with when you have this head girl position, and when people were like, "Oh, you're in non-science." Yes, I was in art class. They would call it non-science in my high school, and then they'd say, "Oh, you're going to be a lawyer," and then everyone at home too, they say, "Oh, they're calling your mom mommy lawyer already. Your daughter is going to be a lawyer and all that." So for me, the idea was just wearing the wig and the black gown. So I said, "Yes, I'm going to be a lawyer." But reality struck after high school, and then jammed me. I didn't meet the cutoff mark for law to study law, and I kept getting other courses. But because of the societal expectation, or should I say, the pedestal, I think maybe people put me, or just the fear of saying, "Oh, these people already have this expectation of me, and I don't want to disappoint them." I kept saying, "No, law or nothing, law or nothing." So I wrote jam 5 times, and each year I never got law. I think I got close at one point. I got international law and diplomacy admission at Babcock University. So I think I got close to studying law, but you know, it just never happened. And it took me 5 years just trying to, and at some point, the second year, I decided that okay, instead of just waiting, then I just go to a polytechnic. A polytechnic, for those who are joining or who are not familiar with Nigeria, we have this university, polytechnic, college of education structure. Yes, so I enrolled at the college, Federal University Polytechnic offer in Kwara State, and I was offered admission. I had to choose between mass communication and library and information science. I didn't even know what the course was all about, to be honest. But my mates were already, getting into the university, and when they are calling you on the group chat, people are writing, "I've gotten admission. I'm in so university." And for me, I felt like a failure. I felt like I had disappointed everyone because people were expecting the head girl, me, to be one of those who would even get admission. And it turned out I was the least. I mean, by the time I got into the university, my mates they had forgotten that they went to the university. And each year I kept trying to get in. I kept trying, but I wanted that low. But I realized at some point, I realized that I was doing it for the wrong reasons, and then it hit me. I didn't even I wasn't even interested in studying law. I just what it was just the idea of being a lawyer, or but also because I am like a very studious person. Whatever I find myself doing, I do it very well. So I had to, I had to enroll at the Polytechnic. I finished my OND. That's what we call it. And then I had to do, there's something we call practice for 6 months if you want to now continue to your HND. Then, you know, at my fifth trial, then I got this realization that no, I cannot keep, it's like a futile journey. And at this point, I was so furious. It was like a waiting period for me. In fact, my faith was tested because I kept asking God, this law, I wasn't failing jam, I was passing jam, but I wasn't meeting the cutoff mark for the law that I wanted, like the only thing that I wanted. And that made me feel like I wasn't good enough. I was a failure, like everything I had achieved. But it took also God and the people that I had around me to remind me that it doesn't define me. And the fact that maybe I had to go to a polytechnic, or I wasn't studying law, it's not about what people will say or what society, because I realized at that point that that was what I was busy chasing. I wanted people to continue calling my mom, oh, mommy lawyer. I wanted to be the first lawyer in my family. They painted that idea so well in my head. Eventually, my cousin is the first lawyer in the family. I didn't turn out to be the one. And I'm okay with it. And the funniest part, the fifth year that I actually wrote JAM without the mindset of studying law, choosing to follow the passion of library and information science that I'd actually fallen in love with, that was the year I gained admission into the University of Ilorin without struggling, with ease. Even the connection my dad and my mom thought they had at OU, that they had at the different universities I applied for, none of them even work. I didn't even see my name in the admission list. Not the doctor, but when it was just God's time and the right part, it was just easy. It came with ease. So, what is the moral of this point that I'm just going to say? Um, just lessons from it actually. Delay is not denial. Don't let society pressure you into thinking you have to be this way. You have to be exactly this way, or you have to be academically. So I think, yeah, that is also part of the mistakes our parent made, making us think if we were not the top three or the best, we were not the best. That competitive, um, it's not, for me, it's not true. Academic success is not great. The people who are doing well in life now, just like you said, people with third class are getting scholarships because they had value. They added value to their life. They went for internship. They are giving out value. They are getting experiences. So please, do not let society define you, and don't feel like a failure. And even if you fail, yes, if it's a failure that I did not become a lawyer, or that I did not get into the course or the university as at when my mates did, I didn't give up. I kept going. I kept on going. I mean, I could have given up. I could have settled for, okay, let's do the polytechnic, let's do the HND. But no, I knew I wanted to get into the university. And eventually I had to come to terms with the reality. So please and please, that's my first lesson. And another myth I'm gonna, let me say, debunk now, is the myth that um you have to be for you to be an academically studious person, you shouldn't have a social life. So this is me. I have always been all rounder. How do I say this? You'll find me at parties. You will find me watching movies a day to exam, because, and when people see me, they don't believe that, oh, is she the scholar? During my university days, I mean, I had a friend who we had gone to the polytechnic together, and when I entered the university, she was like ahead of me, and then she said to me, just because I like fashion, I like dressing up, I like to look good. She said to me that, oh, this is not a place for you to do fashion. It's a very serious business here. It's not like the polytechnic that you're coming from. And I'm like, what? So you're saying I was doing local champion and this is about to be serious. So I should leave fashion. And so it because and I think it's true because there's this stereotype about scholars. I mean, in University of Ilorin, we have this scholar, like real scholars. We have university scholars that are really acknowledged. So if you're an first class and the best in your class, you are like a scholar. You get scholarship and things like that. So there is a very and most of the scholars, they are like people who are like no social life, always in the library 24/7, things like that. But that's not me. It's never been me. You will find me at parties. You and how do I achieve this? In fact, I had a business while I was in school, and people wonder. In fact, some of my friends got to a point that they tell them, don't compare yourself to MJ. We could have exam tomorrow, and I'm probably playing around or watching movie. And it's true if you because I know myself. How have I come to achieve this? I know myself. I plan myself very well. I know when it's time to study. I know when it's time to sleep. So if you see me sleeping, don't come and sleep if you've not prepared. You will fail because I know myself. I know my peak moments. I know when you will not. There's this very common thing in University of Ilorin back then. It's called night class.
Yeah.
It's go every night studying, and especially when it's exam season, it's always filled up classes and everything. But most of them, it's either they are going dorcasing or meeting different. But because people were going, one day I said, okay, let me just go. So it's not be as if I'm on serious. Let me go and try. I went there, I slept all through because it's not for me. Thank God I didn't have exam the next day. So and for me, I'm just gonna take the lesson from this is you can be academically studious and also be a social person. You don't have you should let pass through school. Also let school pass through you. It's always good to find balance.
Mm-hmm.
Know yourself. Are you a morning person? Do you it's not about reading for hours. I don't even read for hours. It got to a stage I knew, okay, this semester I don't want to stress. So what I do is every time I come back from class, I make sure that I go through whatever it is that has been taught in class again. And I don't have to go back to it again until during exam when I just put everything together. Because once I've done that, I don't have to stress over, oh, this topic. I really see to understand it. So, find what works for you
Mm-hmm.
and stick to it. It's very, very important. Don't try to copy others because, oh, these people go to night class. It's just a matter of finding time. You will see me, I was selling underwears and things. I would be going from houses to houses. I don't miss my classes as well. And you find me at parties, you find me at restaurants. Item 7, very popular in Unilorin back then. That was my food. I really I'm a firm believer of, getting to experience everything. You can be academically sound, you can love fashion, you can love dancing, you can still do whatever it is that you want to do in life. That's what I believe. You don't have to be, they call them SU. The academics is not only for SUs or people who are really seriously religious. Even church, I don't joke with my God because if not for God, I don't know where for day. God has been so you find me in church. I am also very I like I'm very active in church. I'm active in school. That's just the thing about me. And sometimes people believe that it's a myth for you to be that way. And I'm even close to even my lecturers. I mean, I have a very good relationship with people, with my colleagues, because by the time I got into the university, I told you my mates they left already. Those who did 5-year course were the ones that I met because 4-year university in Nigeria. So by the time I got to the university, but I didn't say, oh, because this is not my sector. I still enjoyed myself. I still mingled. I found friends who we were scholars together who helped me. And I'm not too big or too pompous to say if I don't understand anything, if you're the smallest, I will come down to your level to learn. I don't hesitate to ask. So if you really want to learn, if you really want to just be open to learning, to collaborating, just like Bolanle has said. That's why I also mentioned that you already said some of the things, collaboration and networking. They are some of the things that have really helped me. Now I'm gonna put it to this idea of um, for me, another thing is mentorship. I wouldn't be where I am today without mentors, like people who I have admired that, oh, if they can do this, then I can as well. If they can do this, and I can as well. And to be honest, my mentors are wonderful people. And also, my husband is also one of the people who has actually helped me with mentorship since because we started way back. And he has always been one of the people that I look up to that's helped me. Even when I think, oh, I've done enough, he reminds me that no, you can still do better. You can still do better. There is always something better. You don't ever get satisfied with mediocrity, or you think you've arrived. You can always improve. You can always be better than your last result. And that has made me see myself that, oh, the only competition I have is myself. I'm not competing against anybody. I just want to be better than who I was yesterday. And now I think I've spoken too much, and we don't have enough time. We still have a question and answer session. So, guys, if you have any questions, please drop them in the comments, and then we're going to address them. Um, Let me just try to also say this now. My train of thought, I lost it for a minute. Excuse me. Yes, about PhD. It's not easy, to be honest. I don't know how Bolanle does it. She's my senior, but I am struggling. I don't want people to ever think that I have it all together, or that I'm up there. No, I still struggle. I still have days when I'm totally clueless. I am tired, but I take rest. One thing about me, I don't joke with my rest. When my body, I listen to my body. When my body tells me it is time to rest, I rest. It is not a do. Academic is not a do or die. So sometimes you need to take rest. Breaks are important. They are part of it. So please rest when you need to. You don't want to become a scholar by force until you start bleeding before you stop, or you end up in the hospital. So please always remember to rest. It's just a matter of finding balance, knowing yourself, keeping that consistency and your mindset, just like Blanley said, collaborating, mentorship, having the right people in your circle, who encourage you, who challenge you, people who you want to grow together. So please find that, and God will help. And also God, don't forget God. God is at the center of it all. We really cannot do without God. So thank you. Over to you now, Uriel.
Thank you very much. I was just trying to write down something. I lost my I got carried away by the things that were being said, and I also realized that time had actually also really gone. But the stories are really interesting, really enticing, really encouraging, and also really motivating, I must say. Um, a lot of times you see people look really good. People look like they are having it all figured out. They're looking cheeky. You would never think MJ is going through stuff because her cheek never goes. So you just wonder that how is life so good for some people? What's going on with mine? But the truth is, everybody's actually facing their own struggle. But the
True.
mere fact, one of the things I've read, I'm going to point out to that is, when you mentioned that, do not let society define you. It's very, very important, because and your competition should only be your own self. You're not competing against anybody. The moment you start competing against any people, you start realizing that even okay, or the thing is, when you are able to meet that person's standard, okay, the question is what next? What next? But unfortunately, you don't even know how the next step to go, or what next you're supposed to do. But if you're your own competition, you realize that you needed to do to work harder today than you did yesterday. You realize that you need to be a better person tomorrow than you are today. So you just realize that there's always room for growth. And then the statement of there's only one room that can never be occupied, which is the room for improvement. It's a clear indication that that's what has really made you guys what you guys are today. We have just about 7 more minutes, and I've seen some comments as the discussion was going on. Victor Akiola mentioned that MJ's story paints the art of resilience and stardom. If it is in you, it is in you, I would say. Ezenwa said, it's really amazing. 20 times. Yeah, I also noted that I was one of the 20 rejections, right? I celebrate your resilience and your blessing. And Romosella said that for academic excellence, find purpose, of course, two, find strategy, what works, and three, outcomes. In other words, it is your purpose and the strategy that you use that will determine the outcome you have. Thank you, Romosella, for that amazing input. I mean, I don't know if there's any question, anybody has any question. We have just very limited time, but I have just one question for each of you. Yeah, I don't know how fast you can answer the question because of time factor, but the question is, and you answer, you both would answer when maybe one after the other. Maybe Bolale will go first and then MJ will go after. The question is, if you are to look back today at how far you have come, do you have any regrets? Is there something you wish you could have done differently?
That's a very all right. That's a very very good
I'm sorry.
question there.
Now, unfortunately, it's going to look like I'm just going to have enough time to think, but sorry. Sorry.
Yes.
It
All right.
requires deep reflection, so it's okay.
Yeah, just breathe. Take your time.
Okay, that's a very big question to be honest. Looking back, do I have any regrets? Well, maybe for now I would say no, to
Mm,
be honest. Like this is where I wanted to be. Like I've
mm,
always envisioned myself I want to get to this peak in my career.
mm,
But then maybe I wish I had had mentors that shaped my life maybe at a very early stage in my career. Like what MJ was saying, our parents might have got it wrong trying to force us into one line of career. But then maybe if you have had external person, maybe as young as when you were in your high school that could tell you go for what you like, go for what you want. Maybe that could have hastened our academic career. We
that's
won't
right.
have to write jams 5 times and
All right.
That's
it's also
right.
similar. It's
That's
also the
right.
same case. I wanted to study medicine. At some
Mm,
point, I was like, okay, let me go into vet medicine, and that was when they gave me a course that was just out of the place. So I think
mm,
that's one thing I would have loved. I had very early in my like growing up when it comes to choosing the right career path because up till now, so many people are stuck with okay, what do I want to go for? Even
mm,
after finishing their my bachelor's, like what next? That's always a big question. Should I go into another field and everything? But for me personally, I think for now I have no regrets. I am actually it's not all smooth, it's not all rosy and everything, but then there's always a way to go about it. So that's just it.
amazing, amazing, amazing. Thank you very much. I don't want to add any comment on that. I want MJ to also say something before I see it collectively. MJ, over to you.
Thank you for that question, Uriel. For me, I would also say no, because looking back now, I realized that everything that happened brought me to where I am today.
Mm,
And God was preparing me. In the waiting period, He prepared me. And
mm,
through it all, He never left me. So
mm,
imagine what if I had gotten into the university and immediately after high school and I had died or I was involved in an accident.
mm,
What if? But look at me, I'm here today, I'm alive, I'm hale and hearty. I
mm.
am where God wants me to be. So no regrets.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I need to mention people, if you're listening to this, that if you have regrets, don't feel bad. You know, these people are making it seem like it's wrong to have regrets. That's not true. It's actually okay to have regrets. So in case you have regrets, please don't feel bad about it. But they're just trying to say that all the crooked roads that they have gone through have led them to where they are today. And what you actually think is a regret, at the end of the day, you realize that it's actually a stepping stone to where you really can be.
Absolutely.
So when you look back on what was seemingly a regret for you, you realize that was actually something worth thanking God for. And that's just literally whatever it is that you're going through today, whatever difficulty, academic difficulty, life difficulty, anything at all that may seem like an insurmountable mountain to climb. There's always people to look up to, knowing fully well that there's nothing new under the sun. You're not going to be the first person and you won't be the last person. Someone else overcame, you will also overcome. And
Yeah.
rooting for you thoroughly and very strongly. There's no other question. I don't know if MD has anything to say before we draw the curtain this evening.
Oh, thank you so much, Uriel. Thank you, Mobolani. I'm just gonna say thank you. That's all.
All right. Thank you so much, Amabali. Thank you so much, MJ. It's been an absolute pleasure discussing with you two
Oh,
today.
sorry, one more
Yes,
thing.
yes, please. Yes, please.
Before we end, I'm just gonna announcement time. We're gonna
Mm,
be meeting
Information.
again
mm.
in November on the 9th. And this time around, we're gonna be discussing about another side of school, not academics. Now we've been discussing academics since the beginning of the year. We know they're tired. We are tired. So now we're gonna talk about love. We're gonna talk about relationship, and we have
Okay, okay.
ME, my own personal brother,
Mm.
Michael Eromosele, who is going to be our guest speaker next month, November 9th. Stay tuned. I'll be sharing the flyers soon. And then we're going to come to just
All right.
discuss love. So I'm really excited and I'm looking forward to it. It's good.
Okay, so apparently life is not all about academics. Love is also a very
Yes.
important aspect. I mean, I heard MJ talk about how her husband has been a very integral part of her success. Well, it's okay. It's okay. We look forward to that. We look forward to that. Thank you, MJ. Thank you, Bolale. It's exactly 1 hour and 3 seconds now. Thank you so much to everyone that tuned in. Thank you so much for being a part of this session. It always promises to be wonderful, and I hope that you've been able to get one or two lessons from the session today. And we hope that we're going to have you again in your large numbers. Moving forward, please feel free to invite your friends, invite your families, and then also come real prepared. Thank you so much, everyone, and have a very good evening.
Thank
Yes.
you.
I'll say the prayer now and then we can the
Yes, MJ.
call. Thank you.
Yes.
Dear Lord,
Mm.
thank you for this event. Thank you for everyone who tuned in. Thank you for the guest speaker. Thank you for the co-hosts. We're grateful because you've given us another opportunity to learn. We ask that you please help us not to just be hearers of your words alone, but also to be doers. Help us to be productive in our careers, academics, personal life. We want to see more of you, Lord, and we trust that you do this for us. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Amen.